doing good. Today we're in conversation with Dhruv Saxena and Jazz. Dhruv being the co-founder of Vistaverse and Jazz being the product owner. We're going to be talking about all things metaverse today. So for the people who don't know what metaverse is, the first question to you guys would be, what is metaverse?
Let's look around. This is the metaverse, right? But while you soak that in, the technical definition is it's a perpetual three-dimensional environment uh, where you can do many things that you do in the real world. So you can work, you can play, you can socialize, and once you do start doing those things, you can build more interesting things on top of that, like buy stuff, play games, uh, just a lot of things. And pretty much over a long period of time, everything we do in the real world, apart from eating and sleeping, we'll be able to do in the metaverse.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that we're trying to convert you guys to all like get on board and live your entire lives in the virtual space, but this is just like a taste where you can spend parts of your day and spend a bit of your time in this kind of virtual environment. Because we already spend so much time on our phones, our social presence is so important compared to our physical one as well. So this is like the next step from there.
That sounds so exciting. So the second question for you guys would be, what kind of metaverse are you working on and what are the kind of experiences that you'll be offering? Well, we are in that metaverse. It's called the
Yeah,
Vistaverse.
we call it Vistaverse, and the kind of principles that we're building on is um, it needs to be fun, meaningful, and like inclusive to everyone. You don't want to just build it for like a small set of people to just play games. And I think that journey will take some time so that everybody gets it. So initial stage, we want to work with people who are high quality content creators, movie makers, who really kind of push the boundaries of thinking of what the metaverse could be, right? And that's why like the entertainment industry is a good place to start. And then eventually, of course, there'll be like more kind of practical commercial applications. But initially, it's going to be a lot about fun stuff.
So Dhruv, you just mentioned the creators, right? So I wanted to know how is metaverse relevant to the creators community, and how do you think people could start monetizing through metaverse?
That's the perfect question. If you think back like 10 years ago, and someone were to say that, "Oh, I'm a comedian on YouTube or TikTok," nobody would understand what you mean. The concept of video was just record something and then you put it somewhere. But now this is like people's daily earnings, and like it's like there are massive people doing all this, millionaires, billionaires. So the fun part with creative people is that they figure out how to use something like this and give it like mass appeal. Um, right now people are doing some fun stuff, playing some games, not really basic stuff. But this is going to be the place where you can actually kind of do more three-dimensional stuff. Like imagine if you don't have the time or the energy or the resources to make like a full-fledged movie, when you want to kind of illustrate your story, this is a good environment to do that, right? You don't have to kind of just stick to the phone and just your face and then edit your face. This is like so much fun. So we're going to have all of those kind of creator toolkits, so you can kind of build a custom environment that's particular to whatever your brand of content
Right. And about the monetizing part?
is. Right. Yeah. Step one is make something, and step two is like get people to come and buy it. There are people out there right now. What they offer is we build a metaverse experience. These guys kind of push it through their socials, to their existing followers, and then it's like a ticketed access, right? That's the most basic model. But it's going to evolve from that. Like there's going to be like subscriptions. There's going to be like hangouts. Like you see this table behind me. We could have like a club where we just kind of hang out. There's club membership. Um, Ultimately, it's going to be a lot about like that conversation. I don't want to kind of list out all the ways you can make money on it. I think it's fairly obvious, but there is a big commercial aspect. There are reports which says in 10 years this is going to be a $3 trillion industry. I think that's very possible. I mean, there's one quote I want to kind of say is like, I'm paraphrasing, but it basically says something like, we underestimate the power of technology in the long term, but we overestimate the power of it in the short term.
Yeah,
So,
which is true.
right.
So that brings me to my next question. Do you think the Indian audience is accepting metaverse easily, or are you facing any challenge there?
The Indian audience so far can understand that there is value behind the technology of NFTs and blockchain and cryptocurrency. What we're facing in terms of a little bit of a setback, at least in the current stage, is that we want to try and bring these high quality experiences to devices that everyone has. Now, it's one thing having this big, like, requiring a really powerful computer or really expensive hardware to run experiences and to run the cool stuff. But honestly, we're trying to make a metaverse that runs through your phone, because the goal is that you want to be able to access the key components of the social aspect and the interaction perspective from a mobile device. You don't be carrying around this big brick of a computer to
Of
run
course,
around
yeah.
like on the board, right? So I think in that regard, India is slightly behind in terms of how the West are advertising the metaverse, like, with the big goggles and you live inside of it kind of thing. I think our approach will be a bit more slow and steady. And the goal is not to just try and come up immediately and like make a brand new world for you to spend all of your time in. It's to ease into it slowly. And I think that's what India's been doing well with. We have the biggest community inside of India in terms of crypto users, in terms of raw numbers, along with those that have already made transactions with cryptocurrency. So I think we're definitely in the right trajectory in terms of the market we're going for, and definitely we have the best access to this.
Yeah, I'd add a couple of things to that. I mean, first of all, I think this whole NFT, blockchain, metaverse wave is coming together. These are like very separate things, right? You can never have to interact with NFT or blockchain, and you can user. And then like you can build fun experiences. Like one of the ones that we're coming up with is like a mystery room, right? So you can come and you can play with your friends. Um, and that's a small like 15-20 minute fun experience, and for a creator, for example, like they'll come up with better ideas how to make that more fun, right? So what you're basically taking is like take an everyday life situation or something you see in the real world and make a kind of gamified version of that, you know. um, and then you can come up with something, I can come up with something, we can collaborate on something. There's a
And
lot
put it
of
out there for both.
The second thing I would say is, with regard to adoption, if you think about the outside countries, they moved from like cell phone, smartphones. It took some time, right? But if you think about the emerging economies, they jumped a bunch of steps, right? So India today, right now, we had like 5 years ago, mostly like regular phones. People didn't have smartphones. Majority didn't have smartphones. And suddenly everybody has it. It's like 700 million users, 90% people using Android, and we expect something similar to happen with this technology. Right now, there's people don't know it, growing faster than maybe some of the outside places with better computers. But like a year or so, when your phone becomes so much more powerful, um, everybody's going to be able to use this.
Yeah.
That's how we think about adoption.
Okay, and one more thing. So, how is the AR VR thing related to metaverse?
So AR VR is, well, VR is delivered through a headset. VR is delivered through many kind of lens forms. Um, But I think the idea with AR VR is slightly different. AR is, I'm living my life. I want a layer of whatever tech on it. So I want to read my newspaper in the air, play a game which is kind of on go type. VR is more like, I think Meta is doing good stuff there, right? Like they have Oculus, they have headsets. But the thing is, a lot of research will point you in the direction that are not really comfortable with using that as yet, and it's also very expensive. People are very used to kind of just using their PC or their laptop, iPad, phones, devices they already have to try out new stuff. Um, so there will be metaverses where AR, VR is kind of what the focus is. What we want to build is primarily for uh, laptops and phones, iPads, making it inclusive.
The next question that I have is, and this is something that everyone thinks about, right? The short term benefits. I wanted to know what are the immediate benefits or the short term benefits by being a part of Meta or joining Metaverse or spending time in the Metaverse.
there are a couple main things. Like one is obviously like you can experience something new, so this is like kind of fun. You can have the whole customization of your characters, and you can explore something with your friends, which is like a nice social change. But I think from like the real world perspective too, like we've got brand partnerships and celebrities who have come on board with the metaverse, right? For example, if a brand is there, they can offer you say discount coupons on purchasing stuff in the real world. So you can enter in the metaverse, go and visit their store or experience, and then you can take these benefits with you in the real world to actually get dollar like benefits that have a dollar value behind it as well. This like as
Right.
a start.
Would you also like to mention something about the latest collaboration that you guys had and the experiences that you created on the basis of a movie? Because that sounds quite exciting.
Yeah, for sure. So we had tied up with one of Kamal Hassan's movies called Vikram, and we released an NFT in 4 different categories for that movie launch itself. And we're inside the Vikram world inside Vistaverse. So this is basically based on one of the scenes of the movie itself. And the goal is that when movies come out, or actors or celebrities or brands come forward, we can build these kind of experiences for them based on whatever they're wanting. So it's all going to be created and unique depending on the experience that you're inside of.
Different sort of collaborations that people could have on metaverse. Say, for example, Starbucks, or how yeah, how you could buy land and the value of land increases if a celebrity is buying land close to your house or something like that.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, with our land and metaverse, the idea is we get a lot of crowd pullers on here, and that should build trust for brands. That hey, this is a nice place. Movies trust it, celebrities trust it, musicians trust it. They're building here, so this is a good place for people to show up. Um, and of course, what that means for creators is it's like a good platform to come out and try, and then just kind of raise their hand and be like, oh, you're doing this with XYZ person. I'm happy to create for that. So I think it also becomes like a little bit of a discovery platform, um, and there's a lot of kind of headroom for people to grow, right? I mean, because just that much more kind of content that you can make with them. Um, and you don't have to worry about like the technology aspect. That's what we take care of. So yeah, that's a little bit. I think we're talking to a bunch of brands already, like some your international type players who want to build here. So initially we've seen a lot of incoming interest from like our major brands who like international who want to come and build here, and we've also kind of signed up a lot of major movie studios, music labels, artists, uh, Web3 creators, video form, audio form, photo form. And they're all kind of come and build here. I think it would be good if everyone kind of joins the community, then see what's happening, what's updated. I think every day we'll do something out. And that's a good way to kind of just stay clued in and then, come at the right point when you're talking. And our team's always available in chat every couple of days. We're just connecting on hours. There's no like requirement of setting up meetings and doing that. We're just available on Discord, chit chat.
Mental wave, bro. I'm not gonna hit a 6, bro.
I did that deliberately.
Now that we've spoken so much about your metaverse, how do we become a part of it? How do we sign up for it? What is the way into it?
You guys
So
can check out. Oh, sorry. There you go.
you go for it.
If you guys want to come and check out the metaverse and what we've got planned, you can go to vikram.vistaverse.io and you can see the kind of stuff available that we have there. If you want to come and join us and experience the Vikram mode that we're in right now, you have to purchase one of the NFTs online, and the instructions all on the website that I just mentioned. Also, do make sure you join our Telegram and Discord and social channels. They'll be linked below in this post. And then that way you'll be able to really keep up with what we're doing, because there's so many announcements that are going up. You don't want to miss information. So definitely join our socials too.
Right. Do you think the regulators are ready for the metaverse? Because right now we're dealing with a lot of hate comments and a lot of negativity on even social platforms, social media platforms, or social media sites. So now, do you think the regulators are ready for it? Because we don't know. There's like endless possibilities, right? Like we don't know what could, uh, or if there could be anything offensive, or anything that could be sort of negatively impacting a person's mind.
So I think regulation is very important. Like, it's good to kind of run away with the thoughts and dreams, but you still have to kind of live in society. So that's a welcome thing, honestly. I think the only kind of global complaints you see is when people kind of harass each other. Right now, that kind of possibility doesn't exist with ours. You can't actually harass people because that's not the narrative does not exist.
But I think we're moving closer to be able to do, or to be able to experience more human-like things. Like closest to the human experience. So eventually, maybe not
100%. And
as internet couldn't bother us because it's behind the screen, but in any sort of
no, no, I
verbal.
understand. I understand that. So I think what I was trying to drive towards is that at a technical level, there are some things we can implement to prevent that illegal behavior. Right. For example, right now, you might see like a bunch of weapons lying around, but you can't commit any violence this space. Right.
Mhm.
That's
So
controllable.
as of now, it's all controlled.
It'll
Exactly.
always
It's
be.
not.
Isn't
Yeah. Because the way you can think about it is like, if you think of other like, shooting games, FPS games, or like violence kind of games, there it's inbuilt in the game rules that you can interact with this weapon and you can hit someone on the head or you can shoot them, right? We haven't put these inside the metaverse because the goal is not for you to shoot the people in the metaverse. The goal is for you to have fun and enjoy the experience with them, right? And the interaction. Sorry, my WhatsApp. Um, the main thing to take note though is that when it comes to regulation, that's regulation from like the crypto and the blockchain side of things. But in terms of moderation, like having a safe experience, it's gonna be just like using social media. You do have people commenting you do have people commenting and saying nasty things online. It happens, and that's why there's an admin team and a moderation team that looks after this, because it's just going to be like your comment section on a YouTube video or your comment section on one of your Instagram photos. There are people monitoring that and moderating the content that goes there. We may have introduced functions like a language filter as well. It really depends on what we want to do, but the goal is to keep everyone safe and there's going to be no chance for harm, but whether with words or like in the physical space as well.
There's another design kind of barrier which will kind of help against such problems is that we're trying to build very storyline experiences, right? So it's not you can come here and pass your time. The idea is that there's always going to be something to do, something to play, something to interact with. So it's going to take like a really, really vanilla space for you just kind of hang around, do nothing, and then build all these things. So we'll take care of that, and we're very responsive to the needs of our community, whoever joins, all the people that are actually part of it. And the moment something like that, we'll take care of it.
okay? But this is specific to your metaverse. Now, what about the metaverses that other people are creating, and what if they're like status and they sort of enjoy it?
Yeah, so how this plays out is like, there's a community
Is there like
based.
a metaverse cop or something yet?
Is there a metaverse one?
A metaverse cop?
Oh, metaverse talk. I think those would be like the developers, right? No, so the idea is there will be metaverses where it will actually probably be focused on like largely user oriented things. That's a possibility. That's what can happen. Um, but that's not going to mix with the community that uses this. Like, if I give you an example, like OnlyFans is a thing that exists, right? But
Yeah.
OnlyFans, that functionality doesn't happen on YouTube, right? So you can keep those things separated. And that's exactly how it will play out in the metaverse.
Right. So if you're not interested, you don't step into that. Correct. So that's about it from my end. It was lovely having a chat with you guys. It was so insightful. I'm hoping to get on a conversation like this with you guys again. Let's look at the response and let's see if we have more questions. We can take it up the next time.